everybody, today I want to take you along with me to make a new product for my shop. So I want to make saddle stitched journals myself. I want to print the pages, get the paper, do the design, everything, all myself. I've actually never tried to do that before. I have. So the first thing we need to do for this project is to design the line sheets. I'm really debating if I want to have the subject and date at the top to leave a margin, how wide do the lines need to be. I personally like thinner lines, so we're going to try to accomplish that and do some test prints before we bring the file to Staples. I'm really leaning toward having the margin at the top be blank because I feel like there's some days where a date is not applicable. Maybe you're writing about something that's sort of universal and can be applied to all your days. Oh, hi. And also you don't always have a subject in mind necessarily. And those are the only two I've ever seen at the top. Otherwise, I don't really know what prompt I would give. And I feel like if you wanted to write a date or a subject, just leaving a larger margin at the top would be adequate. So that's what I went with. So the reason I was showing you my printer and it's literally on my floor is because I live in a 1-bedroom apartment and I run everything out of literally one room because obviously the living space is shared. So I have all my art stuff in here in the closet and I pull out my printers from here when I need them. And I just wanted to say that because I feel when the idea is when you're an artist, you need this beautiful curated large space to work. And we even see that on YouTube a lot, generally super stunted out beautiful spaces. And you don't need that to get started. Obviously we all want that one day, but for now we work with what we got. So the lighting in my room isn't really turning out for you guys seeing the lines, and I think I'm just gonna take all of the documents to Staples and have them test print them for me anyway, because that's just gonna be true to their printer color, and then we'll see then. So I'm gonna put my jacket on and we'll get in the car. Let's see if this stays. If it does, I'm gonna be literally an elite YouTuber already, because we all know how we try to do this and it doesn't work. I absolutely love my car, so don't be surprised if I make videos and I'm in my car a lot of them, and I always take you on my errands with me and show you my errands because I adore my car. I drive a Volkswagen Beetle and it's basically an extension of myself. It is my safe place. I always, cry in here, sing in here. I feel it just knows me better than anybody. So this space is so ingrained with me and I love it. I love it. So we ran into some adversity. Basically, every single sheet that I would run at Staples is going to cost me $1.50, which for profit margin purposes of the notebook is literally it's just not feasible. So I think what I'm going to do for this particular design is I'm going to print the line sheets myself at home. I thought about how that would take a lot of time, but if I just set the printer to run like 50 sheets at a time and then flipped all of the sheets in the right way and then ran them through again, like I can walk away and do something else. So I think I'm not going to settle for the colored lines because they ended up like so cute, especially when I was like having her test print them. And then I'm going to also get a regular piece of cardstock for her to print on, because I tried to get like these ones. I got this like shiny one, and then I got this like linen. It's like a linen-y one. And I thought it would be so nice for the cover of the notebooks because I'm also doing like a foiling process. So basically what I do is I have her print inkjet toner, or sorry, not inkjet toner, laser toner on this cardstock, and then I like heat transfer foil it. And as a notebook cover, I just think it's gonna look so gorgeous. So I don't want to settle for my idea. So I'm just going to replace the cardstock I got, still have her print on the cardstock so I can do the heat transfer foil process. And I'm gonna, for this specific notebook, I am going to run the sheets myself at home. At other times, maybe I'll come here to Staples and like just get like black and white ones because she said those would be a lot cheaper. And yeah, that's where we're at right now with this. Let's hope this goes well. You know, at second try, we're going back into the stores. We're making it happen, okay? We're making it happen. I'm not gonna get mad. I'm not mad. We got this.
5 hours later.
So I finally made it home, and I think that the adversity ended up being a good thing because I realized that the paper that I had gotten was like too textured for the process I want to do. So I ended up with this paper right here. I think it's like a pretty like navy blue. This lighting is really like good and direct, so it's a little darker if you know, have it not so indirect lighting. And basically the process I want to do is like a foil transfer. So I'm going to send it through a machine that basically reheats this toner so hot that it makes the toner an adhesive, and the foil, the metallic foil, will only adhere to these toner parts. And the lady at the place was so funny because I know her, I've done this process before, and she was like, I'm not sending these textured ones through if my machine breaks down because I sent them through. We're done. We're breaking up. Which I love her. We have a little relationship. So that was a funny story. So I got this paper, and then I did buy like a huge pack of my own bright white, like a little bit thicker than normal copy paper, but still copy paper, paper for the inner sheets. I showed you my printer. I have 2 inkjet printers, and I'm just printing these thin lines, so I think economic wise this is just like the best idea to print them myself. So I'm gonna do that, and I got the huge ream of paper because it was like cheaper to get more than just a little bit, and I know I really want to make this like a key part of my shop is this bookmaking. So I invested, I got the big thing. I also got an awl, which is this very sharp object that creates the holes for the bookbinding part. I got a corner rounder for the notebooks. I like this one has 2 different sizes, so I can make it like, you know, a little bit more rounded or more of like a rounded point. I like this one because I was looking online and a lot of the other ones looked sort of like flimsy, like they might only cut 1 paper. This one looks like it might get through a bit more than 1. As you can see, it's like really big. So I spent a little bit more to get this one, but I think this one's gonna be worth it. And then there's like, I know there's like the advanced one, but I wasn't investing in that yet. And then I did get some threads that match the paper, so that it'll be really beautiful end result. I'm excited to get there, but we gotta trust the process. Love the process. So in the meantime, right now, I'm going to go run copies of the line paper. I'm basically just gonna start running like 50 through and then just kind of let it run in the background while I do the foiling process. So I'm gonna get that started. So now that I have my cozy vibes all set up and I have my hot cup of tea, which is in this mug that I made, I have this up on my shop. It's called Pixie Princess Design. I'll have the link to my shop below. I'm gonna start the foiling process. So this is one of the most exciting processes. I'm really excited to see this idea begin to come to fruition, and I'm really glad I didn't settle on the vision and I came up with a solution for it, because once I have a very like set idea in mind of what I want something to look like, I almost like can't settle until I see it out. So I've had this idea in my head even for like a week now or so, and I'm just really excited to bring it to fruition. The design that I had was already designed by me. I just haven't done it like on this substrate yet of a notebook, and I haven't done it with the foiling process either. So fingers crossed that it works out, and let me show you what the foiling process looks like. So they're a little bit imperfect, like especially right here where you see the hand kind of skips a little bit. That's very normal with this process though, because that, you know, that line is like so small. But also it's kind of like skips in other areas, like you can see the texture in like the starburst and stuff like that. So I feel like because the texture is all over, and you know, because it's like a handmade product, it kind of is good that it's giving like a little bit imperfect, even though I'm normally a perfectionist. But I feel like the handmade aspect of these like saddle stitch journals that I'm making does make them really like special and unique. I've bought notebooks from like art shows before, but they were like pre-made and she like cut out her design and like glued it on, and I still like loved it. I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. So I think if I saw this, I would be like, wow, that's cool. Especially because the line sheets are turning out really good. It looks like it's not going to show up super well here, but it's a really pretty blue, and it's literally going to look perfect with this. Like when I look at it, I notice it like pretty easily that it's blue, and it's going to look awesome, especially with the rounded corners thing. I'm like so excited for the rounded corners thing as well. But I think I'm gonna have to cut off here and then restart tomorrow. I also need to spray seal these, so letting those dry overnight before I like touch them and do the bookmaking part with it would be good. I'm gonna work out, you know, eat, take a shower, and wind down my day today, so I'll catch you tomorrow. Hello again, I'm back. So I got really excited about this project last night and wanted to practice the bookbinding part. Like I said, I've done like hardcover but not saddle stitch before, and I ended up making this. So I made this little sample prototype tester booklet thing. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I love the rounded corners and stuff. And the chain stitch is actually really good. And I feel like it looks really professional, especially with it being like the same color and everything. I also decided I'm going to add this beautiful touch I'm like so excited about, of making the edges gold. So you can see like this is a tester, like this is a little bit bad. I used paint for that, and I feel like the paint brush with the ink was kind of like no good, just because it sort of like bleeds onto the actual page when you try to do it sometimes, and it kind of just looks a little bit like messed up. So I did figure out a way today to make that better. I had to go to Michael's again, and I also went to Staples again actually, because I changed up a little bit about them, which I'll show you right now. Along the lines of the edges of the paper though, I'm gonna use this pen. I was practicing, you know, whenever you're by the gel thing at whatever, Michael's, Blick, whatever store you have. I don't really know the European ones. Whatever store you have, when you're there and you're like, you can test out the gel pens. So I was testing out doing this on the edges, and it seemed like it was like gonna be perfect, not only because it's a perfect color for what I'm doing, which I hate whenever you get like a gold pen or gold marker and it's like green gold, like so ugly. Anyway, this is a great color, and I'm also really excited about this one because I feel like it just has a lot of control like with the edge. So for instance, if even though I'm going to clip the pages together, even if it were to like accidentally push through the page, the ink is only right on the top, so if it pushed through the page, it's just going to get the metal. So I really think this is going to be the way to go. Really excited about that. I also changed up the paper. That's like this mess I have right here as I'm doing the foiling process again. So please look at this. I'm so excited about this. So I got new paper. In graphic design, you always want more contrast. The more contrast, the better. And it just felt like this, it just wasn't enough high contrast when the image was like this, for instance. So when it's not directly catching the light, you can't really like see it. So I wanted to fix that, and I also redesigned it. I didn't redesign it, but I went through on Illustrator and made all the lines a bit thicker, so now it turned out like this. So you can see that it's literally way better. Like, look at that, okay? And look at this. Like how it's like skipping and everything. And then we have this. Like, oh my god, such an improvement. And then I also added my branding on the back as well, which I think is gonna be a really beautiful touch. Really excited. And I know I said I'm like not gonna be a perfectionist with this, but whenever this foiling process does turn out perfect, it looks literally amazing. And also when you're launching a brand new product in your shop, which I'm launching these brand new journals, they're not going to be out for a while because I want to have a bunch of designs before I put them up. But when you're putting up a new thing in your shop, you want to put your best foot forward and have it be like really, really high quality, really nice. So I just didn't want to settle for the vision, and I'm glad I didn't, because I know that these are going to look so much better than what I was trying to do yesterday. And I'm really excited to show you the bookbinding process with this one and actually put some lined pages in there, not just like regular whatever pages. So let's get to it. I'm going to start off by folding all the pages, making sure they're perfectly in line with each other, and also making sure that the book doesn't get too thick. So I'm continuously putting the sheets in just to make sure that it will lie relatively flat and not be too thick, while still having a lot of pages. So I did try to maximize, you know, what you'll get out of the notebook. And then next I'm going to start the actual bookbinding process. So I had a little confusion with where to start it, but luckily the dead center was on a line. That I didn't even intend to do that, so I got kind of lucky there. And then just used every third line. The string needs to be 3 times the length of the edge of the binding, and then also split in half because you just don't want too thick of a string. So I start the bookbinding process here. It was a bit tough on my hand because I didn't push the awl through far enough, which actually ended up the end of the needle kind of dug into my hand at one point. That hurt, but we got there eventually. And this, process helped me see what I need to do better in the future, which is always a good thing. So then after this part is done, I'm going to have to cut the edges of the pages off because they're folded and placed within each other. You need to make sure the edge is like nice and smooth because it's not right now. And then I'm going to round the corners and add some gold to the edges, and we'll have a pretty final prototype. So this took a lot longer than it's gonna look in the video. The longest part was definitely doing these edges right here. It really took a long time. I think it definitely turned out good though. I love the end result that I made right now. This really is just prototype number 2. I'm not gonna be selling this one. I like this addition. I like that I made the lines thicker so you can actually really see them and see the design. One thing I learned for the 100th time in my life while making this video and this journal is that just like when we start riding a bike, we don't get on the bike and immediately know how to ride the bike. I feel like because I wanted to make this video, I just had this idea in my head that I was gonna show you the idea and the process and the final result, and it was gonna be perfect, which I've known that that's not how it goes, but forgot just for the sake of this video. So I relearned that lesson today. And either way, because I've learned it before, I'm not mad about it. I am really happy with what I did too. This is not a disaster. This is very good. So I'm excited to really perfect this and then have all the different designs up in my shop. I do want to do a true shop update launch sort of thing for these, so I want to have all my designs on the shop before I launch. So it's gonna be a little bit before that, hopefully not too long, sometime within the next month. So I'll definitely be keeping my YouTube channel posted on that. If you liked this video, if you stuck around with me for this long, thank you so much. Please subscribe below if you did like it. And whether I keep you or not, please remember that you are creative. Creativity is in the way that you put your food on the plate, the way you decorate your house, the clothes that you put on your body. Is in so many different things. So even if you're not a traditional creative, you are creative. Do not forget that. And I hope you have a peaceful rest of your night, week, in life. Bye. Is this too fast? Probably. In my car a lot. Cool. It's done.